Hey Aries, how's it going? It's Lenny D. I'm going to do a random reading for you, but I have a new deck today. And this new deck that I have is called the Orion's Animal Tarot, where you guys are usually used to me reading with the last unicorn deck for the last month or so. And I don't know what this reading is going to be about because I'm shuffling it right in front of you. It could be finances, could be household, career, love, could be you moving to a new job. We'll find out together since we're shuffling it out here together. And you have an overhead view of this as usual, but as we go along in this, you get to look at these depictions on the cards nice and close because I like to zoom in. Zoom it in, zoom it in. All right, so let's get into it. There you go, all nice and zoomed in. Okay, for those of you who are new here, my name's Lindsay or Linny, and I like to read with a lot of historical, biological, science facts when I do reading. History, Middle Ages, and Gnosticism, and then merge those into your life so that we can learn about your situation, but also like the life lessons that are involved in a lot of this. And through pattern recognition. All right. Here's the first thing I see here. There are 2 4s. Both of them are in the upright position. 1, 2. And 2 kings. Both of them also in the upright position. When you do tarot, one of the things that you should get used to is what meanings are when you have more than one number or more than one identical court card. Like in this case, 2 of each, both of them in the upright position is going to mean something completely different than if they were in the reversal, or if there were 3 of them, or if there were 4 of them. And if you're ever interested in reading through tarot as thoroughly as this, a great book to look into is the instruction booklet written by Arthur Edward Waite in 1910 called The Pictorial Key to the Tarot. When he created the book, the deck, famously known as the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, like I said, we get into little fun facts of information when we do my tarot readings. When he made this most famous deck, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, he published a book of instructions that you can also read into that gives you combinations of cards when you put them together. Because Arthur Edward Waite believed in clarification cards and he believed in using intuition. If you ever hear a reader tell you that you cannot use clarification cards, that's ridiculous. And they haven't read the instruction booklet on the OG brainchild of the man himself, who this deck here is based off of. This Orion's deck is a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, so I'm going to read it in line with that. So, with all of that spiel being said, Aries, what does 2 kings mean, and what does 2 4s mean? Especially when they're in the upright position. This is going to fucking blow your mind. Okay. 2 kings in the upright position means that people are going to counsel with one another. It's the cards of minor counsel. That when you have minor counsel, that means people are going to be talking. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, communication's coming in when it's the pages. You get two kings together and they will talk. Okay, they will communicate. Minor counsel will be going on between 2 people. But this one's even wilder. When you have 2 4s, both of them in the upright position, it means insomnia. I bet you didn't think that was coming, right? You're probably like, oh, 4 is numerology. It's the number of balance. There's 2 on each side. If you have 4 of them, you have 8. And you start going, no. Insomnia. According to Arthur Edward Waite, 2 4s that are in the upright position can have the meaning of whatever it is that's bothering you is keeping you up at night. It's literally insomnia, but it's also insomnia that can happen on a health level. Like, it's almost like the universe saying, you might find yourself needing to communicate with people about what's going on in your health life and why it is you can't sleep. Are you frustrated? Are you stressed out? Are you stressed out because there's 2 kings that have to come together and speak about something? Knight of Cups is here in the reversal. I do want to say that Knight of Cups is usually a card of somebody wanting to give an offering, and it can come across as a love offering. But when they're in the reversal, their back is turned to the situation. So you might be staying up at night, insomnia, because 2 people who are trying to speak together, one of them won't commit and offer a kind of offering that is wanted. That could be a love offering. But when it comes to minor counsel, if we're talking about business or legal situations, the Knight of Cups is a card of somebody who doesn't want to give a settlement or they don't want to come together in an offer that would be good for negotiations. Just putting it out there because That'll keep a lot of people up at night. You're like, the opposition will not give me what I need. They're not putting a good enough offer. Yep, that can translate to business. That can translate to legal things. And that can translate to when somebody's not offering you love and it keeps you up at night. Because guess what? In today's day and age, love, for the most part of people who have not mastered unconditional love, are dealing with conditional transactional situations. That's why Libra, I know we're talking about Aries, but let me step to Libra for a second. That's why Libra, known as the sign of Venusian beauty and love and balance and harmony, is a sign ruled by scales of transaction. Because to a lot of people, love is transactional. Love is about, why is this person not giving me an offer? Why are they not transacting their energy with me? And that's okay. There's a lot of instances when transactional energy is friggin' useful. I'm not saying it is not, and it is or it isn't a good or bad thing. It depends on the situation of what you're in with a particular person for you to have an energetic experience with someone. But I am saying that when another person doesn't transact with you the way that you typically want them to, it'll keep you up at night. And you're like, you got insomnia. Also, the Sun card is here in the reversal. The Sun card I really like because it does mean that through this communication and this minor council, there will be not just good communication, yes, good communication, but revelatory communication. Revelation, where you learn something that's going to benefit you. In the reversal, it still means the same thing. Good communication is going to be coming in between you and this person. And it's just that it might take a little bit of time for the Sun to do its cycle to come into the upwards position, since you did get it in the reversal. To me, it's just a little bit of time has to pass before more of the good, clear answers come in. Clear answers are coming in, and it's coming in the position of the Magician card, which means you're going to be able to use the information that comes in and allow a sense of control, because the energetic transaction that eventually does come in will help you to manifest something in your life, help you to break through illusion and create a good, stable reality for yourself. Also, on a very basic level, when we just talk about one of the fours, the communication that's going to be coming into you is going to allow you to heal after the hardship and the heartbreak, because the Four of Swords does come after the Three of Swords, which can be betrayal and difficulties or heartbreaks. And in addition, I know this is a cross combination of people dealing with like the potentials of love, relationships, or communication and counsel between two people on a civil level or a relational level. But back to those people who are dealing with business or legal negotiations, I will say that the Four of Wands has that energy to be beautiful in harvesting things that come when two people finally do minor counsel with each other and communicate with each other to produce a beautiful harvest with one another in the outcome. So the communication, this whole thing to me talks about people communicating, clear revelatory information coming in that's going to allow for you to manifest something beautiful in life, in your relationships with one another, but in the harvest that you have when it comes to reap what you sow type of energy. That's what the Four of Wands is about traditionally in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It is a depiction of an archway standing above these two people who are celebrating. They've got a bouquet in their hand. They're like, yes, it's so awesome. But the bouquet that they have in their hand, it's comprised of the same flowers that are on the victory archway above their head. So they take what they have harvested and worked out with each other, and they build something with one another. And they have usually a house with a red roof in the background, which I really think is fascinating, because if you look in other cards like the Five of Cups, when you have somebody who's so frustrated, so sad about something that's lost, if you look at the background, there's a bridge, and the bridge is leading to that beautiful little house that you see in the behind image of the Four of Wands. And by the way, Arthur Edward Waite, when he described the Four of Wands in that beautiful harvesting, coming together, unity, good energy that he did in the Pictorial Key to the Tarot in 1910, he also mentioned that that was one of the cards out of very few cards that, whether it's in the upright position or in the reversal, means the exact same thing. It means same meaning. When he described what it meant in the reversal, he didn't even put a bunch of descriptions. He just said the words same meaning. And it's beautiful looking at it, right? Also, on this particular card, the Four of Wands is coming with the Messenger. It's also come with the Moon card. So in this deck, it does add in that intuitive hit of communication that's going to be coming in between you and another person. And it does so to clear any of the confusion, which is to be expected because we did just get the Sun card anyways. The last cards that we have not spoken about here is the Ace of Wands being in the reversal position. And that one is really interesting because the aces usually talk about something new, but this particular Ace of Wands can talk about a clouded false hope or a false start to something. So in the reversal, sometimes it has to do with you redoing something that didn't work out in the past. It was like a false hope, but I am going to pull another card here for a second. Because I think it's a false hope in the past. Personally, that's the way my intuition is going because the Sun card is here to reveal the right start in the future anyways. But just in the event that you are going to go through a false start first before you get to the revelatory information that's coming to you, I just want to double check on that. So let me get my little mini clarification card for this one card. The star, see? The Star card in the reversal. It's about hope, false hope. I could have used any word for that particular card there, and hope was the name of the game. My intuition was like, you know what's up? Nine of Wands in the reversal. That's interesting here, the protective energy of that. And I say protective because when the Nine of Wands is in the reversal, it doesn't just mean you need to protect from anything. It meant that there was something that was a fucking calamity. Pardon my French, but it's like Nine of Wands in the reversal is like something devastating that happens. That's why you had to go to the Ten of Wands in the next card where you put something down. But it's being addressed as your perception. Again, hope cards, false hope. There may have been this whole situation may have put you in a position where you really did think it was not going to work out. You're like, this is a disaster. That's what that energy is. A false start, like you tried to do something with someone, maybe a business negotiation that fell through or a previous legal situation that you had to stand down in a court case a million times over. No one could come to mediation properly. Or a relationship that tried to lift off of the ground and then it freaking got nowhere. It was just a calamity. You might view that all there is a calamity that's going to be coming out of this. And the whole rest of it is like, no. Your perception needs to flip, fling around on that one because the Four of Wands is here. The Sun is here. The Magician is here. All kings are in the upright position and the Four of Swords is in the healing position. It looks like you're dwindling on hope because of the calamities of the past, but the calamities of the past are not defining this situation. One section of MERP, an annoying calamity card, and the entire rest of the reading is all about it working out. Tells me that your hopes and your fears on the past cannot possibly define the future of this situation, and it never does. Mistakes never define us. Calamities never define us. So let's see what the outcome is. Okay, we see what the situation is. We see what the outcome is. I do. That you guys are going to communicate. You're going to have minor counsel, clarity, revelation is going to be here. It's going to affect you so much that it busts through the illusion of the entire situation because the Magician is here in the upright. Okay, but what else of the outcome? How does that make you feel? Like a psychiatrist. How does that make you feel? Ace of Wands has come back out. About the calamity situation or the false hope, the false restart. See, that's why I felt like I had to read again. I'm like, there's still something going on here. King of Swords is here. And the Tower moment. Is that why I'm still reading about it? Let me think for a second here. How does it make you feel? You see the truth about the Tower moment that has to happen. That was the false start then. That it was a calamity, eh? It was a really collapsing situation. I think these cards, even though I was kind of asking about what you feel, I think the cards in the universe just decided to circumvent what I just asked and described what this false start was. That when it was trying to zone in on calamity, it was trying to really say that, yeah, it was a tower moment that happened here. It was a full-blown calamity. The Devil card. Damn, eh? That's wild. And the Fool. It was a restart. Ace of Wands, when it's false, the first start, like I said earlier, that's what I was just describing. I was first describing this idea of something that couldn't lift off properly or had to continue to repeat itself over again. That's what's happening here. Tower moment collapses. Fool card brings in the new. False hope happens because there's the Devil situation, and all of a sudden you end up back in starting with the new, with the Fool. So the situation is a redo. This is, and I want to preface when I asked the question about how is it going to make you feel, because I wanted to step into that territory, as much as it's like, oh my gosh, you're going to be able to do something with this. Oh my gosh, revelation and clear communication and minor counsel is happening. I'm just going to say this looks kind of traumatic. And I feel like the Devil card is here and the Tower card is here because even though you get the communication, you get the good acknowledgement, you reach some kind of understanding, the illusion is shattered, you get to move forward with the Magician, people are coming together in an understanding way. Despite all of that, I think the situation was traumatic enough that it's leaving you in the Devil energy, which is a very kind of suspicious, overthinking, obsessive kind of energy. And that will be that next part that you have to tackle. Because when you have a false start on something, with someone or with a business or in legal situations, and it happens over and over again, you get sick and tired of it freaking happening over and over again, and your brain starts to acclimate to the idea that maybe this is all there will ever be. Until the real world steps in and the universe steps in and sideswipes you with a new pattern, and all of a sudden your brain is like, oh shit, this is actually going to end and go on to a better outcome. And it's almost like internally you don't believe it's really here. That's what I get this feeling of when I read this part of the reading. When I say, how are you going to feel about it in this next step? I think it's going to take you some time to adjust with the reality that, yeah, you really are about to go on to the next stage. It really isn't just about redoing everything over and over again. But you're going to have to tackle that side of you with the Devil card that, you know, almost wants to cling to what you know to protect yourself. 9 of Wands cards that we previously got. I kind of hate that. I love that it's, you know, birthing these new cycles. I hate that for you is what I'm saying, but I get it. And you're going to have to go through it. I love it for you because it's clarity. It's dissolving illusion. People are coming together. I just hate that it feels like you went through hell to get to it. You get what I'm saying. You know what I mean. My empathy is trying to... Right. That's what I knew it, man. I knew it. It's about a new perspective. You're going to go through this and you're literally going to have to wrestle with that part of you now because of the trauma involved in this, where you have to gain a new perspective. And it's probably something like you're safe now. You're going to have to take that moon. Now the moon is down because the sun is coming up. And you're going to have to try your best to remind yourself that it really is over. It really is your time for transformation. And anytime it starts to pop up in you, this is what I do. Whenever I have a thought that comes into my head that I realize is bullshit, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually convincing myself that something that's probably never going to happen, I shake my head. Like I'm standing in my room. Sometimes I'm like, I make a little joke out of it and I go, and I shake my head back and forth. And then in 1930s, there was a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn. She wrote a book on metaphysics and did lectures. Her books are called The Magic Path of Intuition and The Door to Success. And it teaches you step by step how in metaphysics she believed we could tap into our actual purpose and path in life. She said that when you have a negative thought, it's actually more like an alien. It's foreign to you. And you can tell these aliens, she called it the army of the aliens. You can call it negative thoughts. You can call it negative energy. Some people would call them negative entities, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I call it archons. I just shake my head and I say, fuck off, Archons, or fuck off, you stupid aliens. Like, get that negative thought out of my head. I make a joke out of it to lighten up my mood and remind myself that that negative thought is not mine anymore. I'm not keeping it because the situation was in the past. It's no longer here. And I invite you to use that strategy so that you can grow into a better version of yourself. Now, I personally am going to leave you off with that, and I'm going to go down and tackle my children to make sure that they aren't wringing their necks downstairs with each other, because they sound a little funky in the background. And if you heard my children, bear with me. I'm a mom on my own. I'm helping you while I help my children. And if you are interested in any readings, private readings, feel free to check out the information in the description or any of the link in the bios at the top of my readings, or of my pages. You can find where all my different readings are. I do have a sale still on right now. It was my birthday sale, end of the month sale, and that is any 3 questions only for $20. If you see this video when that sale is not up, don't worry. Usually I do 2 questions for $20. I just thought I would add an extra bonus question for people. Or if you want monthly readings, I can look into your next 6 months, although those are much longer videos. They're like 30-minute videos, 45-minute videos, because 6 months is a long time in someone's life. We go over a lot of shit. And the 12-month videos are much longer still. Or if you just want to chat and you don't even want a private reading, just hit me up on Instagram. Clearly, I'm a chatty girl. And I say it at the end of my videos all the time. I'm in a house of kids, man. It would be nice to have some adult conversation. So chat with me whenever you want on Instagram. And I'll be there. All right, talk to you guys later. Thank you very much, and ciao for now.